Can you hear me now? All right, welcome. It is another Wednesday Rotary meeting here, and we're going to do a salute to the flag. And I was wondering if I could get someone to give me a hand here. Norm, you want to give us a hand? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All righty. Up next, we have our song. How many people remember this one? Okay, who's going to start us off, Mike?
Well, our speaker is going to talk about science today. And of course, at the center of science is our sun. So here comes the sun. It is hot. It's hotter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. It's been a long, long, long winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it's all right. Turning to their face, right as well. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's all right. First, here we go. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's all right. It's all right.
It's so true. Sorry, oh, don't do that. Alan, you're up for the thought for the day.
Well, I was going to say maybe they should have changed the words from ice slowly melting to quickly melting, but anyway. Anyway, on a clear night in a remote area, aren't you amazed by the huge number of stars you can see in the sky? Imagine yourself 20,000 years ago, and I realize that's further back than the age of this group, but anyway, imagine 20,000 years ago creating constellations to try to organize all these stars. We now know that the universe contains a trillion stars and is 14 billion years old, 3 times the age of the Earth. 2,500 years ago, the Greeks thought everything was made of 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and air. Now we know how protons, neutrons, and electrons make up the atoms of the elements, and how to split and fuse atoms, sometimes making new elements like livermorium. At the same time, 1 in 4 Americans don't know that the Earth orbits the sun, despite that song. And 1 in 5 are not sure that the Earth is round. How many know that our species, Homo sapiens, migrated out of Africa at least 70,000 years ago and interbred with Neanderthals and Denisovans, who migrated out of Africa a couple of ice ages before that? or how we're now using advanced genetic engineering to grow better crops, fight disease, and replace fossil fuels. Or that Newton's law of gravity is only a useful approximation for us on Earth here, and we need Einstein's theory of relativity to make GPS accurate enough for TOPCon machines to function properly. Wouldn't it be nice if Livermore had a place where people could go to learn more about the wonders of science and how it affects their daily lives?
All right, nothing like a little foreshadowing. Okay, in the meeting front line, we've got Joel and Ted and Irv and Dennis and Jeff and Gowd. And then on the next page, we have Trex and Bob in the back. There we are. All right. We've got Kathy. What's Kathy's title? She's a web authoritaire. Okay. Authoritaire. And then, of course, Mrs. Kelly Bauer is doing public outreach. Up next, introduction of visiting Rotarians and guests on Zoom. Do we have either guests or visiting Rotarian? We have neither, none of the above. In the room. All right, let's see if we can introduce visiting Rotarians. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Visiting Rotarians? Yeah, oh yes, you're going to stand up now and actually get your shot in to see if we can get people to come to a particular event raising money. What would might that be?
I don't know, but I'm going to cover my name badge and see how well Gowd knows.
All right.
All right. Testing my memory.
Never do that.
All right. It's a pleasure to introduce President and fellow Rotarians. President, pleasure to introduce Sherry Simone from Morning Club.
Hello, Sherry.
Thank you.
Oh, boy, we'll learn how to do that yet. Remember how it is? Hello, Sherry. Okay. All right. Anybody else who is a visiting Rotarian? Now, Sherry, you going to give us a minute on, the chili cook-off? Now's the perfect time. You've got a mic, stand up and tell us just a little bit about what we could win if we went and supported.
Hello, everybody. You will not win anything. You will just feel so much better about your life.
Oh, you'll win happiness.
There'll be a special place for you. So I am Sherry Simone. I am the immediate past president, best job ever, of the Morning Club. And upcoming on the first Saturday of October is our 4th annual, can't believe it, chili cook-off. It's at Carnegie Park. We've shortened it hours. It's 11 to 4 this year. So we need a few less volunteers. We are looking for chili cooks. If you know a restaurant or an organization that would like to be represented. We also have plenty of room for nonprofit organizations to come out and have a booth and share what you do with the community. So there's a barcode on the cards that I have on the table. If you have a business or somewhere that you could hang a poster for us, I would appreciate it. And as we get closer, I'll be reaching out to get volunteers. So thanks very much. Hope to see you there.
Yay. Thank you, Sherry.
And it's a great day out if you like chili and beer and having a good time.
There we go. All right. Any other Rotarians need to be introduced? Up next, we've got. Oh, no, I was just going to not do the guests. I was going to skip over that. But are there any guests of Rotarians? All right. Let's start with Glenn there. Do you have a guest?
President Mark, Rotarians and guests, I would like to introduce Mr. TopCon himself, recently retired Chief Technology Officer of TopCon, Joe, the irrepressible Joe Brabick.
And I would like to introduce again my wife, Mary, who's come to cheer on Monya.
Yay.
And I'd like to introduce two guests. Stand up, you guys. They're both very active in the Quest Science Center, which you just heard Alan shamelessly pitch. But Rick, who's been here before, is the previous vice president of Sandia National Laboratories. And Vaughn is our expert, the expert on everything to do with the Livermore school system. And just last year, he was awarded Friend of the Schools by some organization in the city that I don't remember. but he's our go-to person for that. So welcome, you guys.
Welcome. Any other guests? All right. Looks like we're ready to go on. Announcements. What's up first? Birthdays and anniversaries. Dave and Trudy, are you going to lead us through announcements on birthdays and anniversaries? Here we go.
I forgot my glasses and this is really tiny. So, okay, we're going to start with birthdays. And the first one is Keith Beck, birthday September 21. Next is Joel Swanson, birthday September 25th. Jack Mills, September 26th. And Trudy Barnes, September 26th. I don't know him, but wow. Okay. Okay. And now anniversaries. Oh, no, we're going to sing happy birthday first. To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Okay. All right, anniversaries. Okay, the first one is Paul Banky and Kathy, September 2nd. Not here. Okay. Mary and Rosa and Rudy. Okay, sorry, that I was really tiny. September 8th. Okay. And Gordon Jones and Janice, September 20th. Okay. I guess we'll be handing those out for some other reason. So, all right. Yep. Because you sweetheart, let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light flowing in your eyes. True. Let me call you sweetheart. I love with you.
All right, a new blue badge today. Oh my goodness. Jay Davis and Monya, can you come up here? No, this is not like anniversaries where we tell how many years it took to get somebody's blue badge. It was probably one of those stats that Alan gave, about 20,000 years ago this and 12,000 years ago that. All right. Jay, come on up and tell us what Monya's won.
Monya has won her classic Livermore Rotary outfit, which comes with a cap to wear at all public events, which comes with our famous yellow jacket to wear at public events. Or if you've had a DWI while picking trash up at the side of the road, you know, it's a dual purpose garment. But most of all, she finally gets her blue badge. There you are, Monya. All right.
I'm going to preempt the question of what is this worth it to you? And I know I am way overdue to offer to join President Mark's club.
Thank you very much. And detailed instructions will come right from Norm there. You see, boy, he didn't waste any time. He's got a hold of her elbow. He's giving the detailed instructions about where to send the money. That's efficiency, folks. I want you to note that. All right, the wheel stair distribution project. Several of you threw up your hands to do that. An email went out from Joel. If you promised to give money to this, this is your last reminder to do that. They are trying to wrap things up. We appreciate that. We had pledges for over $4,000 from the club. So thank you all for your pledges. And thank you even more when you actually send the money in. We like that second half almost as much as the first half. So we appreciate that two-part process. Moving on. Community Service Day is September 7th. And do we have Loretta? Loretta, turn on a microphone. Tell us all about it.
Hello, Rotarians. Guess what's happening this Saturday? It is the well, I'm just making sure you're paying attention, Dave. Well, anyway, you're going to, of course, wear, for those of you who signed up, and even for those of you who didn't, but are still thinking you want to come, it's at May Nissan Park. And you want to be there about 8 in the morning. And if you did indeed sign up, the city is, and the volunteer program is offering this lovely t-shirt, which looks like Alan is wearing for us today. And you can pick these up at the, thank you very much. And you can pick them up prior to the event at the police department station. So some of you might really know where that is. We won't go into that. But if you do not pick them up beforehand, you can pick them up the day of the event, which is when?
Saturday.
Thank you guys, you're all paying attention. And then what you can do is go to Las Positas College, and you'll have to get there at 7 in the morning, I think, or 7:30 in the morning. And then you want to get to May Nissan Park. Does everybody know where that is?
Look it up.
Okay, and I'm done. The sleep in heavenly bed. The bed delivery is September 21st. If you signed up to do this, you probably got an email from them. And that one will happen at Crosswinds Church. So stay tuned on that. Thanks.
Very good. All right. Thank you. Music scholarships, last call. If you have strong opinions on the music scholarship, and we're going to be taking a look at that as we transition leadership. And so if you've always wanted to give a suggestion, or you want to tell them to keep doing exactly as they have done it, now is your chance to do that. Immediate past president Sheila is heading up that group, who will be making recommendations to the board of directors. Yes, sir. Woo, Beth, yeah. And if you ever want to know where every single music class in every middle school and high school is held, Beth knows. So it's personal information that you just might want to, and she'd probably be willing to part with it if you gave a large donation to the club or the foundation. All right. Thank you, Beth, for your years of service. And so we're looking forward to our next steps here. Next. Yeah, absolutely. Avenues of Service, October 19th. Kathy paid me to put this up. So this is a great way if you want to know essentially the next steps in sort of helping lead a club. That basically, it's a wonderful training. The club will pay your registration if you do want to go to this. So you basically can go to the district website and sign up on that. It is Saturday, October 19th. They feed you both breakfast and lunch. So at the worst, you've got 2 meals in the bag. Plus, there's a lot of great information on here, basically all of the various avenues of service. It gives a really great perspective on how all of this happens. It doesn't happen by magic. There's a lot of people knowing essentially what to do that makes it happen. So up next, National Ignition Facility Tour and U.S. citizens only. Irv, do you want to give us just a quick minute on that?
Point there. Now you can hear me. Hopefully at this point, those that have volunteered to participate have received an email officially from the lab that you fill out, name and address and social security number and a few other little ditties. and they've accepted that. If you don't have one, I don't think you're going to be able to get in because they don't have a badge for you. And so if anybody has had problems completing the paperwork, please see me after the meeting and we'll see if we can figure out how to get it straightened out.
Thank you, Irv. Up next, Rotarian Foundation of Livermore. While we're on the Irv, why don't you go ahead and give us just a quick minute on that? On our tabletops, we have information. What kind of information do we have, Irv?
What we have is I have inadvertently misspoke in the past and said that some restricted accounts that are tax deductible were available on the Rotarian Foundation website.
Whose phone is that?
And now there is a complete listing on the website of all of the accounts that were ever thought of. Oh, good. And you have it up there on the screen. And the extras here are so that you can take it home and peruse to see which ones you like. And then you can click on the PayPal donate. And you can either PayPal through a membership in PayPal or by a credit card. And you'll get a letter somewhat a month or two later that will thank you for the donation and the tax deduction. It's now the Literacy Project.
Ah, different name. That was a great question. So if
Yeah.
you are thinking about helping out, giving a book to every third grader in the city of Livermore, that's the Literacy Project. Used to be called the Dictionary Project for you old timers. We don't give out dictionaries anymore. We give out books. All right. Thank you very much, Irv. Next week's speaker, Alan Frank. Livermore in the wild old days. There may be an old town, there may be a train or two wandering through, all sorts of things that are old on this. So just like most of us. All right, but even older than that. And so that's what's coming up next week. And of course, this week, as you have heard now, I think 3 times, this is quite a buildup. And I'm going to give Ted Michaels a time to get all the way to the front of the room here. He has to walk a long ways. There's a lot of tables in his way. That would be, but we've got our insurance. There we go. All right. Well, we do need, if your phone went off, it's a wonderful time to join the President's Club. So I'm just saying, we're not going to hold you accountable, but we know who you are. All right, Ted. Why don't you tell us a little bit about our speaker?
Thank you, Mark. I've known Monya a long time. And when I asked her to send me a bio, I said, either you send me something or I'll make it up myself. She didn't send me anything. So, however, I'm being kind to her in this, and she knows I might not always be kind. So let's see. Monya came to the lab as a mechanical engineer through her 35-year career. Can you believe that? She held a variety of energy, environment, and national security project and program management roles. Earlier in her career, she was one of the system engineers on the team responsible for designing the NIF laser. As the associate director for engineering, the largest organization at the lab, Monya managed more than 1,600 employees, 1,600, and she knew them all personally too. With diverse skills in providing necessary engineering, science, and technology to all the programs at the lab. After retirement, guess what she did? Well, she and a bunch of others went to Quest, of course. And she is currently the CEO. She is also a participant in Innovation Tri-Valley, Livermore Commission for the Arts as the past chair, and board member of the Board of Trustees for UC Merced, acting as a liaison to the Tri-Valley region. And a little known fact, if you don't know her, but I do, is that she's an avid tennis player. And as another aside, she and I used to play mixed doubles together. So that's how I know her so well. Monya, tell us about Quest.
Okay, clicker on the podium. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dennis. And since Ted is a lot taller than I am, I'm going to pull this down and first say thank you very much for this. Can I move this? Does this move?
Don't bring it.
Okay. So thank you very much for this opportunity to share our progress on the Quest Science Center, which you've already had a nice introduction to. And I must say to start out with that it's all Alan's fault, as I'm sure many people know. So I do have the CEO hat, but I represent a whole cadre of volunteers, a whole team of people who are part of the Quest Science Center organization. And it's more than 20 people who are our core group and only 2 actual employees. So some of them are in the room today. Thank you all for that. As I was preparing this, I was appreciating more than ever how Quest is intertwined with our Rotary Club. And in many ways, it's an extension of the Rotary values, service to others, seeing an opportunity to make a difference in our community and beyond, and joining together to take action. Many of you are involved in many ways. Quest supporters, valuable advisors, and in fact, Rotary grants helped Quest pivot in the early days to outdoor community programs during and following the pandemic. So together, we're on a quest to make our communities stronger. Our core market is the Tri-Valley and Tracy, and we're on this journey trying a variety of programs to learn what is most useful and impactful in our communities. Partners on this journey from the beginning, of course, have been the City of Livermore, the Livermore School District, the Pedrosi Young Scholars, Innovation Tri-Valley Leadership Group, Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance, the Livermore Valley Chamber of Commerce, and Alameda County Supervisor, David Halbert. We're dedicated to this vision of connecting everyone to the value of science to improve lives in our world. And a straightforward description of the mission is providing exciting hands-on experiences to convey that science is everywhere and science is for everyone. Science centers are known to play a vital role, providing informal public awareness and connection to the science and technology around us and in our lives in a fun and engaging way, informally building the skills and confidence for today's changing world. We have so many companies in the Tri-Valley that people didn't even know about. I didn't know about until I retired and started getting involved with Quest. National labs that people want to know more about. Nearby manufacturing, healthcare, energy companies, transportation, parks, ranches, agriculture, viticulture, so many themes to rotate through a local science center to make it accessible, make it welcoming, especially to people who wouldn't ordinarily think of themselves as going to a science center. Whoop, wrong way. Okay, so whether we're a science center without walls, which is what we are now, or a permanent science center in the future, we have this aspiration to be a place where science exploration is fun and interactive. Young people from all backgrounds can relate and see themselves. Our local companies inspire future career paths, and visitors gain confidence to engage in our complex future. So what do? What does this mean? This is Quest the year 2023 by the numbers. And I hope it shows how active we are in the community. Looking down at the bottom left, 20,000 attendees to our activities during the calendar year 2023. Surprised even us, honestly. And 20,000 is 1/5 of the 100,000 visitors per year that are in our benchmarked business model for a science center in Livermore. Most of these numbers are 50 to 80% higher than the corresponding numbers for the year before. The number of high school interns, the number of community volunteers, the number of school and community events, and the number of event sponsors and number of exhibitors have increased. And so the trends are all positive. What's not on here that I realized afterwards is that in total, through all of these activities that we've put together, all of these events we put together, we have almost 70 different activities in our Quest portfolio. Most of them from Science at Stockman's Park and the different themes that we have, which I'll talk about more in a minute. So the Tri-Valley Innovation Fair is our signature annual event, which some of you, I hope, have been to. This is a very exciting event at the Court of Four Seasons area of the Alameda County Fairgrounds each year. Because there are 4 exhibit halls around the Court of Four Seasons, if you know that area, this is the closest example we have to what the experience would be in an actual science center. There are over 60 exhibitors who come, and they're excited to be there. You know, we interview them and they say how excited they are to be sharing what they do in the community and inspire young people about new possibilities for their future that they had never even realized. We have one video of a middle school student that's kind of priceless, and she is saying, "This is so cool. It is so amazing that everyone has something for us to do, and something interesting for the kids as well as interesting for the adults." That really says it all. And when she says they all are companies like 10X Genomics, Zeiss, Monarch Tractor, NASA Ames, Gillig Bus, Cemex, and many more, including UC Merced, who brings their mobile maker lab. So the Innovation Fair only happens because the companies that sponsor the Innovation Fair think this is valuable. There are over 20 sponsors of the Innovation Fair, and the 4 in the top tier last year were Clorox, Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley, Lawrence Livermore, and Sandia National Laboratories. The pandemic led us to something we didn't have in our original business model, which was the idea of Quest Plaza. Thank you to Fremont Bank, and Science at Stockman's Park, held on one Saturday each month from the months of May to October. Science at Stockman's Park gave families a way to engage and interact coming out of the pandemic. A meaningful experience, something joyful, 10 to 15 activities each month on a single theme, where kids spend hours and they don't want to leave, where our learning model of sparking curiosity is in full evidence, and we have many repeat visitors. There's a different theme each month, like Earth and Space, Sound, the Human Body, let's see, what was the other one? Plants and Animals, and even a Halloween theme in conjunction with Livermore Downtown weekend event. Other partners bring hands-on activities too, like Zone 7 Water, the Lawrence Hall of Science, Clorox, the East Bay Regional Parks. And this is where we particularly learned that our high school interns have a special role in Quest. They help develop the activities, they help present the activities. They're much better representatives of Quest than us retirees. And as they're doing this, they're growing their own skills and confidence at a crucial time in their lives. So you have flyers. I hope everyone have flyers. If you don't, there are more on the table. Please pass them around for our next event on September 14th. The theme is engineering and to partly in recognition of manufacturing week and month that comes up right after that. Gillig will be bringing one of their electric buses that you just heard about right off the assembly line. And they're also bringing a special hands-on activity for kids and families that talk about the design of electric buses that they're doing just for Quest and just for Science at Stockman's Park, because we've been able to have a relationship with them over the last few years. So come check it out. I won't say more about what the activity is, but please come on September 14th. This next slide really should have a different title. It's really about our youth climate program. With credit to the Association for Science and Technology Centers, which has become an important resource for Quest and really motivated this program to happen. You may know Rick Stuhlin here. We were attending one of the Aztec conferences a couple of years ago. That one was online. And Rick heard about a program like this at the Wild Center in New York. And he knew that our young people are really concerned about what they hear about climate science in the news and their future, and that they actually didn't know very much about it. So Rick met with some of our interns and they met right here. Thank you, Matt. Right here in the Cresta Blanca room, you can see at the top, they got about 120 students from about 10 different high schools around the region, and they had a youth climate summit right here to learn about how recycling, food, and clothes, how those can be analyzed in terms of equivalent fossil fuel car miles and the impact on CO2 in the atmosphere. The top right is an award that they got for their efforts from Innovation Tri-Valley Leadership Group, one of their annual Dream Makers and Risk Takers Awards. And the lower left corner is the group of organizers of this summit. But they didn't stop there. They wanted to continue coming up with related projects, working with their schools, with their school district, and now with the city of Livermore. They are literally supporting the city's climate action plan. They have been working, developing sensors that can be put on cars. They've recently been driving around Livermore, measuring the heat distribution around the city of Livermore so it can be compared to satellite data of heat mapping as well. And this is part of one of the city's goals for urban heat analysis and impact. It turns out that Aztec and some of the other science centers that are associated with their new planetary health initiative also think our youth climate program is pretty cool. And Rick has already been asked to present at some of the online network meetings, and our students are going to be giving a poster at the Aztec conference coming up at the end of September in Chicago. I also put in the photo to the right is from last Friday when the city had a ribbon cutting for their new solar EV charging station at the library. And the students were asked to be there at the reception afterwards and have posters on their heat mapping work. And the DOE person one of the DOE people who were there and interacting with the students said, "You are so fortunate to have this really unique experience. I've not seen anything like it before." We're also excited about our family science programs at local schools. Two examples here are Maryland Avenue, which we've been associated with from the beginning, partly through our association with the Pedrosi Young Scholars Program, and a school in Castro Valley as well, to let you know that we do get around. The Family Science Program will be our first real revenue generating program this year, since it turns out that many schools are willing to pay for family science nights. Likewise, here is just a sampling of many other community programs we participate in. From Tracy's citywide Tracy Connects, which is shown here on the left, to the Livermore Library Dia de los Muertos, TVNPA's Salud y Sol, the Danville Veterans Museum Open House, and Lawrence Livermore and Sandia Family Days. I wanted to mention that we've really been growing our relationship with Tracy and the Tracy School District. They have great high school volunteers, and we now have Quest interns from Tracy as well. And finally, we're gradually expanding our organizational capacity and professionalizing on the way to being a permanent science center. A year ago, we hired our second employee, Dan Golub, another educator, and also a Spanish speaker, which is really important and has made a big difference in our students and families feeling welcome. Dan works for our original first employee, Caleb Chung. We also have a new graduate student, Adrian Bueno, who will be spending his gap year with us. Adrian's expertise is environmental science and statistics, and we met him through Cal State East Bay professor Catherine Hayes, who turns out to be a Livermore resident. Adrian has worked with Catherine at Tennyson High School in Hayward. He's very capable. He's planning a coordinator role with our high school planetary health group so that Rick can do more of his board role. If anyone was planning to ask where we could use the most support right now, I would say support for this amazing grad student who grew up in Stockton and is taking a gap year to help out his parents. We also finally leased a prototyping space at Las Positas Court, the top right photo, where you see some of the heat mapping discussions taking place. And we've just recently moved in and welcome you all for a visit. And then thanks to a very generous donor, we now have a new Ford e-Transit to professionalize delivery of our mobile family science portfolio, like other science centers do. Something we've learned the past few years is how important mobile programs are, which will now be added to our original business plan. A number of us will be attending the upcoming Aztec conference, and we're looking forward to continuing to learn from our more established peers. I should also mention something that people might wonder about, and that is the current uncertainty of our remaining downtown development where the city has granted us space for a science center. This uncertainty is something that we're not in control of, and no one really knows what the outcome will be. So that said, I hope that today I've conveyed how the Quest team has been expanding programs and community reach over the last few years, now modestly expanding our infrastructure. And we'll be using this expertise along with interviews from community leaders to make some updates to our concept for the permanent Quest Science Center in coordination with the city, and plan to move forward and then spend money on a detailed design at the right time. Okay, thank you all so much for being part of this Quest journey in our community. Your continued support is hugely appreciated. We are a community science center, and this is a team effort. Please help spread the word that science is for everyone. Please let me know, others on our team, what you'd like to learn more about, or just give me your input and perspective. I would literally love to hear from every single person in this room. Thank you all so very much for this opportunity.
All right, questions from the floor. DJ.
What is Aztec?
Aztecs, excuse me, it's the Association for Science and Technology Centers. Turns out that the Science Center community is really collaborative. For those of you that went to conferences for other reasons in your career, this is not like a technical conference. You know, this is like going to a community information sharing, and everyone really helps everyone else. And in fact, you probably even know that there are traveling exhibits at science centers. And that's just an example about how science centers share what they know with others in the community. So there is one national organization that really matters in the science center world, and that is the Association for Science and Technology Centers, ASTEC. We were fortunate enough to learn about them early on as we were benchmarking what it would mean to have a science center in our community. And it's, as you can tell, it's just been an invaluable resource.
All right.
Monya, it was most interesting. The permanent building that you're hoping for, what size building is it?
Yes, thank you. So the city was able to grant us a 10,000 square foot footprint. So the size of the building is 2-story, 9,000 square feet on each level. So of 18,000 square feet in the conceptual design that we have.
What are you anticipating? I know it's going to change the cost to build it.
So the cost of the building, when we originally had the construction cost estimate, the cost of the building itself was $12.5 million. That from those who did that construction cost estimate, although we are just about to ask them to officially give us an update, realistically, that has gone up about 30% in the last few years.
Okay, so about 16. And do you have any funds already raised toward that?
So we have from the county, Alameda County, they had given us seed money of $500K to leverage other potential donations. We had a full-blown capital campaign package put together, literally had the first meeting at the CEO of Form Factor's office, Mike Slesser, in February of 2020. So
What happened then?
well, a clue, which should have been a clue, is that when we had that meeting, he was available because his travel to China had been cut back. He's in the semiconductor business. So that is by way of saying that we are just about to revisit updating that package.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you have a few $100,000 laying around, or even $1 million, I mean, I'm pretty sure, Monya, can work out a payment plan. There's a variety of different ways.
Absolutely.
Some real estate maybe you won't be using if you're moving out of your house, for example. So, all right, up next.
We are ready. We are ready.
There's a whole variety to get there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Monya, do you have as part of your overall, I wouldn't call it business plan, but operational plan, any kind of a tutoring program for like high school students who, could use not just kind of an exhibit inspiration to go into science, but say they're involved with some science and they'd like to get some more in-depth sort of tutoring as to
like the READY program?
well, that's
To give
more
it credit?
for their individual efforts in the school curriculum. I'm talking about maybe something that would give them a little more insight into what's ahead in their possible career path. Is that part of your overall?
Okay, so
operational plan?
those sounded a little bit like two aspects, one being tutoring and one being career paths. Not exactly. So the typical business model for a science center is for classrooms to come to the science center every day. Two classes a day is our business model. And that said, there are also school-related programs that are aspects of science centers that after school programs can which we are piloting. We are piloting some of already. We are involved with the Green Engineering Academy at Livermore High School. We have been for a few years. And then really the students who are part of our intern program is the way that they are learning a tremendous amount about what their possibilities are and building their skills and confidence at the same time, as well as their social interaction with their peers. So that has been already a significant, development effort. So that's as far as we are right now, but we have a very well benchmarked business model for the Science Center that includes each of these aspects in the right proportion to make it a sustainable business.
Yeah, we're doing that right now in terms of those climate students. As an example, in our intern, they are helping us build the Science Center. So they're doing exactly what you suggest. They're getting that sort of training, that sort of experience of doing that work. So we're on our way. We're doing it now.
Yeah, thank you, Vaughn. And also the Innovation Fair. The Innovation Fair, absolutely. We need a lot of volunteers for the Innovation Fair. So we had something like, 60 or more volunteers for the Innovation Fair. Those students who come volunteer that day are getting a tremendous exposure to the range of possibilities, and they get a lot of encouragement from the exhibitors that they interact with as well.
Other questions?
Another thought, the barn is unoccupied right now, and I know the city isn't wanting to pay the money but isn't there a possible way that you could have an interim location there? It's a pretty good sized space, at least to do some of the things that you do.
I'm not sure if the barn itself is habitable, but the idea of an interim space is something we should consider as we're planning our next phase, which is we just had a board retreat to get that going.
Other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. So, as is our tradition, you have the choice of a red wine, a white wine, or some olive oil. Red wine. All right. We will have your red wine. All right. Thank you. And is also our tradition, because Quest is a 501c3, and we want to thank you for giving us a presentation today. On behalf of the club, I'm proud to offer you $500 donation to Quest. So thank you very much, and thank all of you. All right, we've got two more things to do. So let's do a ticket number.
Last four numbers, 4763.
Ooh, over there we have a winner. Okay. Now, the last thing we've got is we've got a couple minutes left. And if I could ask the slide to go back to the list of slides that we have now for the foundation that shows all of those restricted funds. So 18 and a half slides back, carry the one. So you'll see that there's a whole variety of places where you could place your tax deductible donation. Okay, so we have on that. So some of my favorites, you'll see the Rotary Club of Livermore. We basically have the RCL President's Club. So that one's a particular favorite of mine, both being because we are the Rotary Club of Livermore and me being the president and that being the club, the President's Club. Those dollars essentially are what help pay for the donation we made, for example, to Quest today. That helps pay for that. It comes out of a variety of sources, but it essentially
dollars that go into these particular categories only go to 501c3s. So you can see exactly what their purpose is up here. The President's Club is a little different, it's a little broader, but it is limited to go to 501c3 purposes. So we can't use that to pay the accountant or do other things that we have to do. But it does allow us to do things like what we did today. So I know a lot of you have been saying, gosh, how could I give more? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of that from the group. And so these are great ways to be able to do that. And it's so easy. Irv told us just how easy it is. You can do it with your credit card. You can actually pull out your phone right now. And if one of these topics is particular, perhaps Nepalese children is your thing. That came out wrong. That, yeah. I'm going to stop. Anyway, take a look at the list. There was no way to get out of that once I got in. Anyway, that's a wonderful thing to spend money on. And I actually, and that is listed as the Nepalese Children Fund is our third one on that list there, the second one under the heading of our club. So I would ask you to take a look at that, get online. It is very easy and to support your club. And does anybody, before we ring the bell here, in just a moment, I'll be back. Yes. Yes, some of those desperately need some money. So if that is actually, or the music fund or our club grants, there's a whole variety of things there. They don't happen without your donations. I can also turn up the fining if that's what people really want to do, because there's a variety of ways to get here. We can either push or pull to get to our goals here. And the last thing is, for people who have something to brag about, is somebody standing who'd like to brag about something or request something? All right. Do you have a microphone? Is there a microphone in the back of the room that could get to his general voice? Yes, there we go. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, just to, you mentioned 5013C's contributions only on the restricted fund. I just wanted to clarify two items up there. One was the Nepalese Children's Fund, which hopefully you'll all see more about in the next few days. That isn't a 5013C. It is tax deductible because it goes to a Rotary Club, the Kathmandu Midtown Rotary Club in Kathmandu, which is the way they distribute the money. And that's by definition, it's tax deductible.
It's an eligible expense under that same government code. So it doesn't literally go to a nonprofit. It has to be a eligible expense.
Okay. And the other thing just is the Grace Care Medical Center, which is something I set up about a year and a half ago. That's a medical center which is brand new now. It's about 2 years old in Uganda, near Kampala. Anyway, so I really request anybody who's got a feeling towards Africa, or certainly a feeling towards the children of Nepal, to consider giving something to both those. Thank you.
Very good. All right.
Check. You must put on the bottom of that check, of course, it goes in the foundation, and to which fund. Because if not, you'll go into what they call a circle of giving, which will be administration for the foundation.
Goes into an unrestricted fund. All right. All right. Here we go. You may want to do that. Yes, but don't do it on accident. Yeah. Do it on purpose. Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm up next. Thank you so much. Well, I just want to, I'm kind of feel guilty if I don't do something, because I had a phenomenal vacation.
How good was that vacation?
Well, for the first time, I took my family to an international cruise, to Mexico.
Ooh,
and we had
that sounds very good.
best time from Mazatlan to Puerto Vallarta to Cabo San Lucas to, and it was
that sounds like 3 times
it
as
was
good
so
as
much
the
fun
regular
that
vacation.
we had the children in one cabin, and we have our cabin to ourselves. So, and they're all teenagers. So you go do what you want. You have your key. You don't disturb anybody. We don't take you anywhere. It was just phenomenal. So I've never had for 7 days, actually 9 days, because we went to Long Beach first, hung out there for about a day, came back at Long Beach again, then left for Mexico. It was just a phenomenal time that well deserved for everybody. I've been working my butts off, me and my wife, and the kids have been doing very, very well in school. So it was a very well deserved vacation. And I think I'm going to join the President's Club.
Why, thank you, sir. All right. Wow. Okay.
Yes, we did.
All right. Up next week, we've got Alan Frank talking about Livermore in the wild old days. Be here, be square. Have a great day.